welcome to the Thirsty Bitches podcast, where we talk about anything under the sun, from books to entertainment, self-help, and even a little spice. I'm Victoria.
I'm Kiara.
And I'm Katalyn.
And today we are doing our Pride episode. It is going to be in the same format of our sort of awareness episodes that we've been doing this year. Last year we did more of a recommendation, who to follow, like what groups you can support. This year we're diving more so into things that have been happening within these communities. So a lot has been happening to the LGBTQIA plus community, and we want to continue that discussion to make sure that we bring awareness and showcase our support where we can. So that is how this episode is going to be today.
But before we get started, we're going to do our quenchable moments really quick. And if you're new here, a quenchable moment is something happy or exciting that's happened to us over the last week or so that we want to share with each other and with you. So to kick us off, Victoria, what was your quenchable moment?
So I don't know if any of you remember, but I talked about changing my work schedule for the summertime. And it's been going really, really well.
It just changed, right? Like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was the first week of May that we switched over. But I've been really, really productive those first couple hours of the day, which has helped a ton. And we're actually in a really good place right now in regards to our work because of it. Not that it's just like all me, but it's helped keep us really efficient. And I talked to my boss about it, and she was like, well, if this is working, we can put in a request to make it a permanent change. And I was like, hell yeah, that'd be great, because it works really well with my sister's school schedule, so I don't have to worry about leaving my desk to either get her on the bus or get her off of the bus. So I'm very excited. So
that's good. I'm glad that you're enjoying it.
Yeah. I'm sorry to talk about positive job things when you're struggling so bad.
It's so hard. Like, it's so I don't think I mentioned it to Emily a couple of times, but like, it's, as you guys know, Emily got like this really, really, really like great job. Like, she got it. She's gonna be making over $100,000 a year. Like, it's phenomenal. Like, her second week of work, they want her to travel to Arlington for training. Like, it's a really great job, and I'm so happy for her. And I'm happy for anyone who has, like, you guys are having great job opportunities. You're changing your life. Victoria, I know how much you struggled before with, like, your last job. Katalyn, literally, anytime you talked about your 3 jobs, I wanted to strangle all of them. Like, I'm so fucking happy that you guys are all in, like, such better places. But I will say, like, it's so hard sometimes when, like, people talk to you about their jobs, because I was laid off, and now the company is completely shutting down. I don't know if I told you guys that. Like, it's completely closing.
No.
Yeah, so they got the WARN notice. Like, Eleanor, they're all looking for new jobs now. Like, it's done. And it's really funny because there was one guy and we were talking at one point about, like, before we left, because we were both getting laid off. And we were like, he made a joke, and I'm like, it's like how to lose a guy in 10 days, but it's like how to bankrupt a company in 90 for, like, real. Like, it's
that's a good joke.
Bad. It's so bad. And obviously, like, our company was under a bank, and with everything going on in, like, the financial industry right now, like, it's just really, really bad. And so it, like, makes sense, but the whole situation was so fucking stupid. But I am now unemployed. I don't have a job. I'm having a really hard time finding a new job. I'm trying to stay positive, but it's so hard to stay positive. And then, like, for my friends to, like, have these good news on the same days that I'm, like, getting rejected from a job I've been interviewing for, I'm just like, bro, like, I just want to take myself out. Like, I'm done. I'm over it. Fuck being an adult. Where's the return policy? But I'm happy for you. I'm happy because I know, like, this has been your goal for a long time, and I'm glad that you're able to find something that's gonna work the best for you. So yeah,
you'll have your moment, I promise.
I'm really hoping for it, you guys, because we just went through this in the fall.
Yeah, we did.
I feel like our listeners are just gonna be like, Kira's always just looking for a job, you guys. Listen, I know.
I'm telling you, start working on your book.
I know. I have been. So it's just hard when you're, like, mentally not. All I want to do is lay here on TikTok for hours. but I'm like, I need to be productive.
The last one.
Yeah.
You deserve it. You've been on a you need to decompress from that like travel experience.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's exciting. I'm happy for you. I'm glad that they're looking into extending that, making it like a full-time thing. Katalyn,
Yes.
what was your quenchable moment?
Mine is also work related. So
Okay.
as I mentioned yesterday, but it's not necessarily something I did. It's just something that happened at work.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday, we're in the middle of May right now, was the senior class's last day of high school. Our district's last day is Thursday. Their graduation is Friday. So their last day is yesterday. And on my coworker's caseload, she had 12 seniors, and all 12 seniors are going to graduate. It was a struggle.
That's incredible.
It was such a struggle up until the very end. But the counselor and I were talking before the assembly, and he's like, they're all gonna do it. They're all gonna walk. They're all gonna graduate, get their diplomas. It'll be fine. I was like, even the ones we haven't seen? He's like, even the ones you haven't seen. And I was like, thank God. Because our boss is currently in Hawaii right now. So, but.
That's so exciting. Please tell all of them that I say congratulations, that the girls at TBP say congratulations. We've been following along on their journey, and like that's so amazing.
We've never met them, but we're so proud.
I'm so proud of them.
They're little fuckheads. I literally
tell them.
One of them turned in his last assignment an hour before the assembly. An hour before the assembly.
He's like, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
On brand. Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. But anyways, so they're all graduating with the class of 2023. So 100% graduation rate for our program for this year. So,
that's exciting.
Yay.
That's so exciting.
Kiara, what is your quenchable moment?
So my quenchable moment, as Katalyn said, we are mid-May recording this. I just had Riley here for her 18th birthday. She was over the weekend. Her birthday was the 6th. I literally cannot believe she's 18. Like, this is absolutely insane. I remember the day she was born. Like, my family and I were in Carpinteria. Like, we were beach camping. My mom got the call, and her and I got in the car, and we drove 2 hours from the beach into Los Angeles to be there. And I got to see her like in the NICU, because they still had a NICU at the time. Not the NICU, that like the nursery. Like they still put babies in like the nursery then. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing her and like seeing my aunt like in the hospital. We got her Subway. Like I remember that day like so vividly. Mm-hmm. And now she's 18 and she was here, and I took her to get her first tattoo, and that was like such a like core memory for me now, like to be able to like have that with her. She really wants us to get a tattoo together, and she has sent me a couple like ideas that she wants, and so we're going to be talking to an artist about that soon. Nice. But like I've been telling her for years, I'm like, you know, I will pay for your first tattoo, because she's like, if you sign off on it, I can get it now. And I'm like, well, if you get it now, I'm not going to pay for it. Like she wanted to get it at 16, like in Vegas. I'm like, well, if you get it now, I'm not going to pay for it. Like no, I'm not. And like the whole point was like, I'm like, if you wait until you're 18, like I will pay for your first tattoo. And so it was such a struggle, because like she had texted me 3 weeks out from her thing, and she's like, this is what I want. And I'm like, girl, we should have been looking at this ahead of time. Like it's so hard to get a tattoo artist that you don't know to like take you in. I called around so many places. No one was getting back to me. And so we were at dinner on her birthday, and we found this place down the street that takes walk-ins for piercings and tattoos, because she really wanted to get the other side of her nose pierced too. We got there at like 6, and it was like the perfect time. There was only 2 people there in front of us. They were friends getting a tattoo with another person. This big guy comes in, and he's the piercer. Apparently he's the owner of the shop. He's a shop owner, and he gives her piercing, and he's like, "What, are you guys here for something else?" And we're like, "Yeah, she also wants her tattoo." He's like, "Oh, I'll do it." Owner of the shop is like, "I'll do her tattoo." He takes us all the way to the back to his big office, so we get like this seclusion, because you know how most tattoo shops, they're like open,
pretty open. Yeah.
We were in the back in his office. Like he did it. He was super cool. You know, we were all laughing the whole time. really like just a chill guy. And he told her, he's like, you know, it's on the back of her arm, just above her elbow, so it's like a high touch area. He's like, next time you're here, like, come in, like, he's like, I will touch it up for free, like don't worry, like, I will like touch it up. And we're like, oh my god, like, we really lucked out, like, walking into this place. As we were walking out, the place was fucking packed. There was like 8 people in the waiting room waiting to get in for like walk-in tattoos. I'm like, we got here at like the perfect fucking time. We had to wait like 45 minutes because he was running late because he hadn't left his house yet, but we're like, we can wait, like, that's fine. But the fact that we like got there before everyone, like, it was so great. It was just like a really great weekend, a great experience for her. We took her on the ferry the next day. She loved the other side. We took her to I think we went to Bainbridge. You guys haven't been there, but I can take you when you guys come back to visit. It would be down rather than up towards like Port Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, we just had a really great time. I just can't believe she's 18. Aww. She had her grad night last night. I don't know if you guys know what grad night is.
Time flies. I have no idea what that
is. It sounds familiar.
So here, grad night, or where we're from, grad night is like this one night of the year where all the seniors go to an amusement park, whether it be Knott's Berry Farm, Universal Studios, Six Flags, or Disneyland, and they take over the park overnight. I figured because it's like an amusement park thing, they probably... So she went to Disneyland. When I was a senior, I got to go to Six Flags and Disneyland because of my leadership class. Ooh. Mm-hmm. It's super fun. They shut down the park to everyone else. So they shut down Disneyland early, and they just like let a fuck ton of seniors just like take over the park for like 6 hours.
It's still too cold for that here to do at night.
Absolutely insane. I was exhausted when I did it. I know she was exhausted. Next weekend is her prom, and then the weekend after that is like she's about to graduate. So wild.
That's exciting.
Wild. I know. Man. It really does.
Well, it does. Funnily enough, this actually kind of works as a transition. Speaking of Disney is suing the ever-loving fuck out of Ron DeSantis, and I love that for
okay, I was like, oh no, is this good or bad?
No, Disney.
No, because like,
Bob Iger's like, no.
Yeah, because we've had all of this terrible anti-LGBTQIA plus legislations come through, and Disney was not willing to back the Don't Say Gay bill that Florida had put in place, and DeSantis wanted to punish them, and Disney's now like, fuck you guys, we literally have so much excess money and time, we're going to do this.
And I think that there was like some sort of legislation that they were working on at Disney, and Disney like got the workaround on them with like this one like line or something.
Yeah, the Reedy Creek stuff, because DeSantis put in a new group to like run their property because he wanted to be in charge of it, because he didn't like the fact that he couldn't be in charge of it because he's a piece of human garbage, and I cannot wait until he's no longer in office.
Same.
And they essentially put a clause in that Disney maintained the rights to Reedy Creek up to 21 years after the passing of the current living heir to King George. So as long as there is an heir, a surviving heir, they have up to 21 years until after their death, which, being a royal line, it's pretty much in perpetuity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, which is legal. That is legal jargon that they can put in there. So,
it was so fun.
And they were trying to dispute it, and Disney's like, no, fuck you guys. So, like, not that, you know, Disney is the end-all be-all, but they're putting their foot down on this one.
And the reason that they were able to pass it through is because Ron DeSantis, like, he made a completely new committee. Like, he got rid of everyone that was on the original committee and brought on a new one. And so, it was like, there was no oversight when this was, like...
Yeah, when the transition was happening.
It just... They're like, well, you fucked up. You signed something that you didn't read. So... Yeah. And this is why you always read terms and conditions, guys.
Yeah. But yeah, this has been in response to their treatment when they refused to back the Don't Say Gay bill. And, you know, there has been like a massive onslaught of anti-trans legislation. Listen, trans lives matter. Trans rights are human rights. They deserve the same kind of treatment that we all do. Like, there's absolutely no reason for them to treat them like this because they're just living their lives being who they are. Trans people and non-binary people are valid.
Mm-hmm.
And the far right is so hardcore and being like, they're groomers, they're pedophiles. I'm sorry.
I'm more afraid of
Do we need to go through the list? Do we need to go through the list of convicted sex offenders and those who have committed child abuse?
I'm like,
you'll find a trend, and it's not that they're part of the LGBTQIA plus community. That's not what the trend is.
All I have to say is, if a white man that is so gung-ho on molesting a child is going the length of completely buying out and learning how to do makeup, getting all this stuff and dressing up as a trans person, I feel like there's more to it than just that. Like there's something absolutely wrong. Like, this person needs help. A trans person is someone who doesn't feel comfortable in their body.
Mm-hmm.
And that is valid. It doesn't mean they're a fucking groomer.
Right. Because at the end of the day, and this ties into the whole, like, misinformation of trans people, like trans men or trans women going into the bathroom to rape people. If a man is going to rape you, he's going to rape you.
Yeah.
He's not going to take the time to get dressed up, put on heels, put on makeup, whatever. If he's going to rape you, he's going to rape you. If there's anybody more in danger in this situation, it is trans men and trans women, because they're constantly being abused in those situations because people want to be fucking douchebags and harm them for no reason. They're literally there to just go to the bathroom. Like, fucking get over yourself.
There are moments where a trans person goes into the bathroom and that man follows them into the bathroom to hurt them, and there's no one else in there.
Yeah.
Like, they're just trying to use the bathroom. They gotta poop.
And now, because of this, there's legislation being passed in some states, I believe it's in Missouri, where they're now legally required to go to the bathroom that they were assigned at birth, to the sex that they were assigned at birth. And then, of course, there was this video going around on TikTok of a trans man, because people, for some reason, forget that trans men also exist. It's not just trans women. Saying, like, oh, when you see this face in the bathroom, like, you can't be mad. Completely went over their fucking heads. Everybody's stitching this video, making all these threats, like, you're gonna find my fist in your face, or I'm gonna beat the hell out of you, or if you follow me in the bathroom, I'm gonna do blah, blah, blah. They're following the law. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to. This is your fault. This is what you wanted, so you can't be fucking mad, is what he's saying.
Basically, everyone is just concerned with trans women. That's, like, the biggest concern across the board, and that's, like, not okay.
It's so stupid.
And again, like, women are always the ones that are being attacked.
Yes. And, like, I've had this conversation with my mom, because she, again, does the whole bathroom thing. I was like, you have watched. So she watched the show I Am Jazz, which is about a young trans woman. And it showcases most of her life through her transition. And it also explicitly shows how her transition was as a child, which is a whole other issue that we've been dealing with now, which is fucking stupid. But I was like, would you really, if you saw Jazz in person, would you look at her and tell her that she's not allowed to go into the women's restroom because she's not a woman? She's 1000% a woman. Like, you're stupid. That's a stupid fucking argument. And then the whole issue with trans kids, they're trying to take away the rights of trans kids, which, again, Florida, way to fucking go. They're now saying that they can take away children who are at risk of being exposed to gender affirming care, no matter what state they're in. But they're trying to get all of these laws put in place to keep children from getting gender affirming care, and they don't realize that what gender affirming care for them is therapy or puberty blockers. They're not getting fucking surgery as 10 and 12-year-olds. That's not what's happening. If they get puberty blockers, at most, that's what they're doing is putting a pause on everything. I know I'm, like, speaking so much, but I'm, like, so passionate about this because it's so infuriating, because people are so fucking dumb. But, like, it's stupid. And then they talk about, well, you shouldn't be letting girls get surgery to have their breast removed. You want to know who's getting plastic surgery? What children are getting plastic surgery? It's cis children. Do you want to know what the most common plastic surgery is? It's a fucking nose job. So it's cool for your 16-year-old beauty pageant girl to get a boob job, but a trans teenage boy can't get his breast removed? How's that okay? cis people get gender affirming care all the time. Birth control, makeup, therapy as a cis person. I mean, men get fucking hair plugs,
Viagra.
Like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. I'm gonna take a breath and pause. This is so angry.
No, and like that's a valid emotion to have with all of this. Like, we have come so far in the legislation that has been passed. Like, you know, it was only in 2008 that we allowed for same-sex marriages. Mm-hmm. So a lot of this stuff has happened over the last 40, 50 years, which isn't a lot of time. Like, it's all happening within our parents' lifetime. And it's like we're regressing at this point because we have such far-right extremists who are trying to rewrite the narrative of a few for the mass. And it's like, and they're wondering why everyone's getting fucking pissed at them.
Yeah. It's like, just like,
I am so excited for this next, like, big election year because we have so many more Gen Zers who are voting. We have the Alpha generation who is coming up into their ranks. Like, they're all very cognizant. Like, there's Alpha generation, like, that are about to start high school soon. Like,
and there have been Gen Alphas out protesting in Florida because of all of this.
Well, when I was at home a few weeks ago, my mom had the news on, and this is slightly besides the fact with LGBTQIA+, but there were these 4 little girls who were they're 4th graders, I think, going to school in Florida, and they were on the news talking about the book ban that was going around. And they're just like, all 4 of them were just like, we read it at 9th grade level, and the books that are being allowed into our schools are 2nd grade level. Like, we're not getting the books and one of them was just like, I love fantasy, and one of them was like, I love horror, and I'm like, I'm gonna stay away from that child. But then there was one little girl, and these are 4 like white little girls. One little girl was just like, I love reading about other communities. She's like, I was enjoying this book about this Black person and like how they were growing up, and I'm just like, this is what we need. Like, it's these children are choosing what they're reading. Like, it's not someone being like, you need to fucking read this. It's like, no, they're actively going out and looking for these books.
Yeah, well, and not only that, it's just the whole thing of like, parents need to parent their kids. But now what they're doing is, because they're so anti their own personal children reading certain things, they're now making it so no other kids can read a thing. You need to parent your child. You don't want your kid to read something, don't let them read it. It's quite literally that easy.
I'm pretty sure it was very easy for my friends' parents who said, you're not allowed to read Harry Potter because witches. And their kids didn't read Harry Potter until they were in like their 20s. They're just like, all right, great, I can't read Harry Potter because witches. Like,
yeah, no, it was the same thing with me. My mom didn't suddenly go into the fucking school library and be like, my daughter's not allowed to read Harry Potter, so nobody else should read Harry Potter, because that's stupid.
To me, that just shows poor parenting for our generation. Like, they're just not
exactly.
It's like, we are trying so hard not to be our parents or our parents' parents that it is turning into this situation where we are parenting other parents or parenting other parents to parent their kids.
Yeah.
And now it's turned into this thing where it's like, if you look different from us, it's getting back to, if you look different from us, then you're the problem. If you are someone who is born with male at birth and you are dressing up in these dresses and these big wigs and you are coming to read books to my children, you're dangerous. You're dangerous. And it's like, homie, please let them read a book to me. I would love a drag queen to read a fucking book to me. I feel like
and you know what my favorite response to that is what is the leading cause of death for children in this country? Because it's not drag queens.
It's guns. Leading cause of death is guns. I was just watching a documentary about Columbine, which was 25 years ago.
Yes.
Yep.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. And we've had more mass shootings this year than we've had days. But that's a whole other topic. Really quickly,
trans people are the issue, everyone.
Yeah. But really quickly, I want to circle back to what you were saying about up-and-coming generations and voting and representatives. Quick shout out to Maury Turner, the non-binary representative out of Oklahoma. They are doing the damn thing, trying to protect their community. I think it's really fucking idiotic that they were censured for trying to protect a member of their community who was just seeking asylum because they were being attacked by the police while they were in session. Also, another shout out, Zoe Zephyr, a trans representative. Also, congratulations to Zoe and Aaron for getting engaged. You're a beautiful couple. That's amazing. Zoe is also doing the damn thing. Got removed from the legislative body and refused to leave because they're allowed to be within certain areas of the premises. They wanted Zoe to essentially hide away in an office where people couldn't see her. And she was like, no, I'm going to sit out where my constituents can find me because I'm here for my people. And seeing the support that she has been getting, we need to do the same for Maury. Maury needs the support as well because they aren't getting quite as much recognition for the fight that they're doing. But I'm just so glad to see new, younger representatives that are actually a diverse representation of the generations that their constituents are. Because, I'm sorry, America is not full of just old white dudes.
And
that's not how this country is.
It's not just
almost like they're representing who their people are. Oh
exactly.
my God.
It's not just them like showing up and representing. They are disrupting.
Yes.
And that is the most important thing. They are disrupting the white person's agenda in the United States. And that is the most important thing. They're like, no, we're not going to sit for this. We're not going to allow you to attack our communities. We're not going to allow you to continue to say that guns aren't the issue. The people holding the guns are. We're not going to allow you to say that gay people are dangerous. Like, it's that narrative is so old and horrible to say at this point. Like, we're just not going to let it happen anymore.
It's old and it's tired and we're over it, just like we're over these fucking representatives who don't listen to anything that we don't want. They're just doing whatever they want because they know that they can get money. And that's not the way that the country should be run. So just thank you to both of those representatives for continuing to fight for your community. I know, like, none of us are part of the LGBTQIA plus community, but we are trying to support in whatever ways we can. And we're just so happy to provide whatever weight we can behind those voices because they matter.
Listen,
they're valid.
I've always been so passionate about supporting this community. Like, my fucking master's thesis was about the feminist movement and LGBTQIA plus. Like, I have always been very passionate about it because, and I might get a little emotional here, like, this country didn't care about my uncle. You know, he was a gay man in the 80s and 90s. Obviously, you can guess he contracted HIV AIDS. Like, he passed away in 95. Like, they did not care about him. And I don't want to be a part of that narrative. Like, I will continue to fight for their rights to everything that they deserve because they are a human being. Like, my biggest concern is them getting the proper health care that they deserve.
Yes.
Whether it be just going in for a checkup or their gender affirming care. Like, that was the biggest issue with, you know, the AIDS epidemic. They weren't getting the health care that they deserved. And so for me, like, I will continue to fight for that because even if I don't like going to the doctor, you should be allowed to go to the doctor. Like, that is one of the most important things for anyone.
And it's just, again, Florida, fucking problem child. We just need to chop them off at this point. Anyways, they are now passing legislation that you can refuse healthcare as a healthcare provider based on moral religious beliefs. Like, you know what? At this point, fucking malicious compliance. If you are a non-far right leaning, non-Christian person, fucking refuse service to those people. Do it.
They have a right.
That's how they want to play. Be maliciously compliant with it because it's fucking stupid. Like, the whole point of healthcare workers and their oath is that they don't refuse healthcare to anyone. They're there to provide care for anyone.
I mean, look at this.
That's Ohio, the whole point of the Hippocratic Oath.
In Ohio, there are, like, OBGYNs are leaving the state in swarms. Like, there are like way less OBGYNs than anywhere else now because they don't want to, they're like, we're not going to practice here. Like, they don't care about us. We're like, we're not going to sit here and tell this 12-year-old who is raped that we can't give her an abortion.
Yeah.
And so like
Well,
they have all of these all this legislation now saying like abortions, like you have to keep the baby, but there's no doctors there to help them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are doctors leaving over the same thing for trans rights because they can't take the risk that they'll have their licenses revoked for providing safe gender affirming care for children. Like pediatric doctors, they're fucking leaving. And I don't blame them. It sucks for the communities that live there, but I mean, fortunately, hopefully we can find some of these resources. There are resources out there of communities trying to create essentially these railroads to escape any states that are passing this legislation. So like if you are in a state that is not safe for you to live in, please look into these resources because they are doing everything that they can to help safely remove these families and these individuals. I wish so badly that I lived by myself and I could also provide safe haven, but I can't. But if you can't actually provide a home and you do want to help, you can also act as a driver or you can just help spread the word. So like if you're wanting to participate in the advocacy of all of this, there's tons of great places that you can do that. But like, it just sucks that we've gotten to the point that that's what we have to do. We've essentially had to recreate the Underground Railroad for queer people. And that's not how the country should be. As a member of the community that had to utilize that, I would never hope for that for anybody else.
Listen, we all know this country is a goddamn laughing stock to the rest of the world. We all know. We may have been sitting here making fun of the UK and their Chinese food a few weeks ago. Katalyn, you were there when this was happening too. So did you guys I want to talk about that afterwards. Like,
yeah, we'll talk about that after.
Like,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So we'll circle back.
This country is a laughing stock.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, Ireland just allowed abortions and LGBTQIA plus like same-sex marriages within the last 20 years. So, and we're like reverting. We like led the way, but now we're reverting. Like, what is happening?
Yeah. And it's just like progressively getting worse and worse. I hate that this is happening. We're essentially witnessing the genocide of an entire community of people. It may not be outright like what people traditionally think of with genocide, where they're being lined up outside and shot, but they're taking away access to the things that they need to be themselves, and that is essentially killing them as a community.
Like, why do
trans people are never going to go away?
No,
they're never truly going to go away, but it's suppressing them.
Like, why do you think the mortality rate in red states is so high in these communities?
Because they fucking kill themselves because they think it's the only option that they have, and that's awful. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. As awful as life may be at this moment in time, living your life is worth it, and you deserve to live and thrive and be happy. And there are people out there that will do everything that they can in their power to make sure that you have that.
Listen, I live really close to the Canadian border. So if y'all want to fly here to me, I have a car and I know how to get there. So
yes, I also have a car. I don't live near the Canadian border, but I do live in a currently blue state that hopefully will stay that way.
I live in a very blue state that is not going anywhere. Well, Kyle and I are like, blue West Coast, West Coast. You live in a blue state, but you live in a red area.
My state is purple. If you look at by county, we have a lot of red counties, but most of our population is in
the city. So if you look at California by county, it would be the massive majority of it is red, but it's because the counties that are red are huge but have very, very, very small populations.
Yeah, it's the same way in Virginia
compared to like the coast.
It's because of Northern Virginia, the area that outlines DC. It's because of that we're able to stay blue in Richmond.
Yeah.
So
the only state that is blue across the board is Massachusetts.
Yeah,
every county goes blue.
Woo.
We love.
I can help you get safe haven in Massachusetts. I can do that. So
I have a lot of friends there too. I can do that too.
It just really sucks that this is where we're at as a nation, and just seeing the outside perspectives of people that live abroad and seeing like their thoughts and feelings, and like that can be a little frustrating at times too, because there's like this misconception that because they're only seeing the worst of us, they assume that that's what it all is, and it's not. The true majority do not feel that way. So I don't know what the fucking far right is.
Also,
we're the silent majority. Y'all haven't won. The Republican president has not won the popular vote in, what is it, like 30 years, 20 years? Since fucking...
Clinton. No,
since
Clinton's Democrat. HW?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I think the dad, yeah. Older
so,
Bush.
like, no, you're not the silent majority. I wish you all would be silent.
You are you're the minority. Like, you're the loud minority. That's what you are.
You're the obnoxiously loud, needs to shut the fuck up and let us live our lives minority.
And listen, I just want to say to other countries that might be listening to us, we are very aware of what's happening here. I feel like a lot of times I see people on social media and they're just like, are you guys like, what's going on? Like, do you guys know what's happening? Do you know what's happening? Like, no, we're very aware of what's happening in the world. We're very aware of what's happening here. We're not dumb. We're not being like, yeah, we're just going to go along with it. Like,
no.
Listen, homie, we know what's happening. We see it. We see the fascism. We understand that relates a lot to fascism we've seen in the recent past. Mm-hmm. Like, we get it. And we're trying, but it's really fucking hard when you have the biggest military in the world as your military.
Yeah.
So,
and, also, like, to the countries outside of us, sorry that our bullshit news keeps eclipsing whatever else is going on in your countries, because we know that there are countries outside of ours that are really struggling and are also trying to make changes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just really sorry that our, again, bullshit news is constantly overtaking that, because it's not fair.
I'm also sorry that, like, our country thinks that they can step in and, like, do something in your country and they make it
that
worse.
They can't even do in ours.
They're just like making it worse.
Maybe fix the shit at home first. You don't fucking break your oven and then go to somebody else's house and like, yeah, let me fix your broken oven when you can't even fix your own fucking oven. Like, take care of your own shit at home first. That's so annoying. Everybody's like, America's greatest country in the world. Where? Tell me where.
We lead in
at what point?
Most incarcerated. We lead in highest military budget.
We lead in gun violence.
Yeah. But long story short, we support the LGBTQIA plus community. We support trans rights. We support all of you, however you want to be called, described, however you identify.
You come up to me and tell me that your pronouns are potato, I'm going to potato the hell out of your ass.
You bet it. You bet it.
As long as you're happy and are a positive contribution to society by just existing happily, then that's all that matters.
Listen, all I care about is that you live a long and happy life.
Mm-hmm.
It's what we all deserve. Are we all going to get it? Probably not. But we deserve it.
That's what we all deserve.
And at some point in our history, we will get there. I promise.
You're welcome for this long-ass rant of an episode. As you can tell, I get very heated about stuff like this.
It's so different from, because this is surprisingly only our second Pride episode, and I feel like we've been doing this for way longer than that.
Yeah, I know.
But like, this is so different from like our last Pride episode. And if you want something that's going to show you, like, recommendations for people to support and things to do, go listen to last year's Pride episode. We did a lot of that in it. We talk about books you can support, social media platforms, people across the board. Like, there's so many different things that you can do. Again, I'm going to reiterate, Pride is celebrated in different months across the globe. June just happens to be the one that the United States celebrates. So if you're listening from the United States, go ahead and look and see where there's going to be celebrations in your city near you. They're in different weekends across the country. Obviously, we all know that New York celebrates on the official weekend of Pride. I believe Los Angeles does it the weekend before. So there's going to be celebrations all month long. Go find where you can go support. Be there for someone. If you are not part of the LGBTQIA plus community, but you support them, go out there and just show them that you are there, that you stand with them, that you hear them, you see them, and that you know that, like, what is happening to them is not okay, that you'll fight for them. If you're in a different country, look up when your country does it. I know, I think England does it sometime later in the summer, if not early
Mhm.
fall. It's going to be different for every country, just so people don't, it doesn't like all kind of like combine.
It's not all right on top of each other.
Yeah. Just make sure you're doing that research. Make sure you're helping out where you can. We're big supporters of it. We do what we can, when we can, where we can. So yeah.
Yeah, and just make sure you're staying safe out there, especially if you decide to join in any protests. There are tons and tons of amazing guides out there that help you protest safely. And also try and find moments of joy, because there are a lot of amazing moments of joy within the LGBTQIA community. There has been some beautiful moments of trans joy. Like I said, congratulations again to Zoe and Aaron. You guys are an absolutely beautiful couple. And it's just showcasing again that love is love and love can win. So make sure to take the time, even in all of this negativity, to really appreciate those beautiful moments and celebrate with the people that we should be celebrating. And we would love for you guys to join in on the conversation with us. Let us know some of your favorite ways to provide support to the members of these communities. And if you have any resources that you think that we should be aware of, please feel free to send that to us. We always love to see it. You can hit us up at our Gmail, Instagram. We have some other places that you can comment, like YouTube and Spotify. And we also have a space in our Discord server. I would like to request that if you join us in our Discord server, if you are talking about some of these harder hitting topics, that you stay within the designated spaces for those, because we want to ensure that everybody that joins in on those conversations is in the right mental headspace and that we're having a good conversation.
I would also add that make sure you're not giving any addresses out. Don't volunteer directly in Discord, even if you're not in ours. If you're in anyone else's, Discord is known to work with the police in giving information. So just be very cognizant about the things that you are sharing there. If you can, leave that platform and talk outside of it with someone else if you are working on helping people get to the care that they need.
Yes. So at the end of the day, stay safe, stay positive. Just know that those of us outside of the community love you all and support you all, and we will do everything that we can to help in any way that we can. But for right now, Kiara, will you take us out with an affirmation, please?
I will. So today's affirmation is, the people who deserve to love me will be excited to accept the real me. Say that to yourself. Everyone say that to yourself. Everyone.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Make sure to tune in on Tasty Tuesdays and Thirsty Thursdays for all new episodes. And be sure to subscribe and follow our socials listed in the description. Make sure you like, rate, and leave a review for the podcast to help boost us across platforms. Helps more than you know. Have a lovely day. And remember, stay thirsty, bitches.